Good morning and welcome to the Next Gen Planners Big Breakfast Conference Special.
My name is Dan Graham.
I'm Francois Letoy, and we are here every day during conference week to bring you insights from amazing people in financial planning.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on a very special morning here in Financial Planning World, because today is the start of the Global Financial Planning Conference 2022. And throughout this week and this show, we want to hear from you guys on your insights on today's big topic, which is financial planning.
So on the show today, we have three awesome guests. First up, we've got Sasha Wakefield, who's the Director of Paraplanning at We Paraplan. We have Bennie, Gouws and Gary Winslow, who's joining us from Asset Map in South Africa, where I am also from. And we have a special guest from Sweden to chat about marketing for financial planners, Maria Bjork. Righty, so let's get straight into the show with our first guest, who's Sasha Wakefield from We Paraplan.
Sorry, Sasha, me asking a question. Good morning, Sasha. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you guys?
Amazing. It's so good to have you on the show. Thank you very, very much for joining us. It's lovely to have you on to talk today about a topic which I don't think we've ever discussed on the Big Breakfast before, which is paraplanning. But it's a really vital part of financial planning, as every single financial planner in the world will tell you. How much have you seen paraplanning as a role grow over the past maybe 10, 20, maybe, I know you haven't been working for that long, but how much have you seen it grow since you joined the profession?
I mean, even in the last sort of 3-4 years since I've been in the profession, I've seen such an advancement already. I think not even just in terms of the recognition of paraplanning. So, it's kind of drifted from that stigma of a report writer. You just sort of get told to write what the client outcome is. But now we're actually being recognized as individuals that have that technical ability to push back on the financial planner's client outcome and actually work together. So it's actually being seen instead of sort of a role, but actually as a profession. And I think secondly, just in terms of sort of the opportunities that have started to evolve. So I myself have kind of benefited from that. Traditionally, there was sort of your typical in-house paraplanner. And now there's just so many different avenues. So whether it's in-house, your outsource, your management, so that it's providing such a sense of diversity within the profession. So I kind of think having those separate avenues is going to encourage so many more individuals to kind of come into the profession, but also to retain in the profession as well. And I think the great thing is that now that we are starting to get recognition, us paraplanners that are typically quite reserved are kind of blowing our own trumpets and going, hey guys, we're paraplanners and we're freaking awesome. So yeah, I think it's just a really exciting time for sort of the paraplanning profession right now.
Yeah, and as Dan said, paraplanning is a vital part of our profession and absolutely a growing part of this. But what do you think is the best way for financial planners to work with their paraplanners or outsource paraplanning team?
I think it's kind of the way that I've been lucky enough to have in my previous and current sort of firm is just have that freedom to challenge the client outcome. And that doesn't mean trying to start, arguments with a financial planner or boss them around, which, I pretty much loved doing in my previous job. But it's really just, working together and using both of our skill sets to achieve the best client outcome. And I think because paraplanners are sort of independent from the client situation, they don't have that same emotional viewpoint, that actually we can bring a different perspective to the client case. So working together is not only great for sort of the working relationship, but also beneficial to the end client, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Francois mentioned about outsourcing in that last question there. You guys are an outsourced paraplanning firm, which is great. Right. What are the benefits of having an outsourced? Obviously, you're going to say there's loads of benefits because you guys
obviously, yeah.
But rather than having that in-house arm, what are the kind of benefits of having an outsourced paraplanning firm working with you?
I kind of think at the moment, there is still that sort of stigma of using an outsourced firm of, we're not going to get the same quality, we're not going to have the same relationship building as we would in an in-house. But actually, that's completely not right. I think the benefit of having an outsourced paraplanner is that we have exposure to pretty much everything. So we work with multiple firms. They might be a one-man band. They might be sort of multi-networks. So, we've seen pretty much every platform, product, advice route, so the amount of experience that we have is vast. And I think with an in-house paraplanner, from myself, my sort of own experience is you kind of get wrapped up in your own paraplanning world and sort of the way that your firm works. So you might not, have exposure to other areas that you could sort of bring to the business. And actually, a lot of the firms that we work alongside, they actually have in-house paraplanners and use us as well. So I think having that sort of collaboration between in-house and outsourced is really great because you can bounce ideas from each other. And we can obviously help with any training or experience for the in-house paraplanners. And the in-house paraplanners in turn can then sort of educate us to make sure that our output is pretty much the same as what they would get as if they wrote it themselves. So, I think there's just so many benefits, really.
Yeah, I love it. And one of I think the big advancements that we've made as a profession is starting to see paraplanning as a career in itself, and not only just a stepping stone into being a financial planner. I think that was sort of initially part of the journey. And then a lot of people realized, no, I love doing this, So if anyone in the audience is interested in getting into paraplanning and to start a career in paraplanning, what would you say to them?
I would say absolutely do it. If you're really interested in, having that continuous self-development, then paraplanning definitely can offer that. You won't stop feeling challenged, you won't stop learning. Every case and client is completely different. So, you get that same aspect as you would in a sort of financial planner role. However, paraplanning just requires a completely different skill set. So if you're sort of an analytical person, you love geeking out over, tax calculations, which is totally me, and you don't mind having your head sort of in a report for, could be upwards of, most of the day, then it's absolutely the right profession to you. And, while paraplanning is not client facing, it's kind of great to know that you're playing such a pivotal role in, potentially changing that end client's life. So yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of financial planners who will not go into client meetings without a paraplanner there by their side. And if you think of it from a client's perspective, it feels like you've got like the Avengers assemble who are on your side.
Absolutely.
And it's a lovely idea. And I think it's fantastic to see that as well, which is amazing. Right. So last point for you this morning, Sasha. Today's big topic is financial planning, obviously.
Yeah.
When we think of the profession as a whole, what's your favorite part of working in it?
Oh, see, that's such a hard one because there are actually so many amazing parts. But I'd probably say for me, it's that sense of community, not just the paraplanning community who are obviously awesome, but actually just the whole financial planning community. I worked at a large platform for a majority of my career, and that was quite isolating. We didn't really have, that engagement with other people in the industry. So, in the few years that I've been here, I've really felt the benefit of genuinely having a supportive community behind me. So whether it's exam support, discussing client outcomes, there's always going to be someone there, whether it's on Next Gen Planners, LinkedIn, it's just a brilliant sense of community, I feel.
Sasha, that wraps up our time with you this morning. We really appreciate that you came on this morning. Awesome to talk to you, and we wish you a fantastic day and enjoy the conference.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. All right, so next up we have a monologue from Bennie Gouws and Gary Winslow at Asset Map, and take it away.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for that, Francois. We thought it would be interesting to spend a few minutes teasing out what we see as a really important trend that's happening across the world. I don't know if you follow Michael Kitsis's Tech Map at all, which he publishes monthly for advisors, which really categorizes all of the tech solutions by functionality. So he puts CRMs into a bucket, planning tools into a bucket, so on and so forth. That has been fairly static for a long time now. And he, in the past month or two, has added a new category, which he calls advice engagement. Advice engagement. What we know about it is it's a fast-growing segment, but we think it's a little bit poorly understood, so we want to unpack that a little bit today. It also seems maybe a bit provocative, so maybe hinting that we're not currently great at advice engagement. But Bennie, I'm going to let you hop into this. What is your sense of this category of an advice engagement, and especially why is it rising in prominence?
Morning, everyone. So it's been like super exciting to see how the industry has grown over the last 20 years, and how we've moved from I'd say a more product focus into a more technical planning mindset, and now I'm more focused on clients and conversation. And we had that awesome breakfast talks yesterday, focusing on those sort of soft skills, coaching, good questions to ask clients, and obviously the ability to listen more than talking. Where we think the next evolution is going is in bringing together those soft skills and the technical planning side to deliver our advice to clients more effectively. And the reason, there are many reasons that's pushing us in that direction. Some of them are we're just busier than ever. So our time as planners are precious, and we need to squeeze the most out of that time. But also clients are more focused on value, they're more knowledgeable, and of course their attention span has gone. Like now we think in terms of seconds, not even minutes, and trying to keep people's attention span. And so that's the promise of this advice engagement technology, that it helps us as advisors to deliver our value quicker, literally in minutes, not hours, in a way that keeps clients engaged. Now, at this point, I think the audience is going like, dudes, I've got a tech stack, I do my calculations, I present my financial plan. What on earth are you talking about? So Gary, maybe just to make it really practical for the guys, what do you see as the sort of the number one thing that trips up advisors in their advice engagement?
Yeah, thanks, Bennie. As you say, we do deal with planners every day. And what we see is that their advice engagement tends to be an immediate follow-on from the document that they put in front of the client. So if they put a spur menu in front of the client, they talk about burgers. So what documents are they typically putting in front of their clients? They're putting a portfolio schedule in front of their clients. So what happens if you put a portfolio schedule in front of your client? You talk about what's on the portfolio schedule, which is product. So product invariably leads us to a discussion of performance, of fees, of costs, and all of the good things that we're really trying to steer the conversation away from. So, I mean, if you think of that document, it really is a list of the advisor's stuff. It's all of his stuff, and it kind of separates the client and the advisor apart from each other, putting the client on one side of the table, the advisor on the other side of the table. And then the client feels compelled to look at this thing and to critique it. Let's critique the structure. The advisor feels like, okay, well, I've got to defend the structure. So you get a funny outcome that happens. Much better would be to aim for a process where the two are working together on something. Something that it's a work in progress, and they're probably going to work on it forever. And Bennie, I mean, just to be clear, this is if you're lucky, if your client stays awake through this. Because when you put a portfolio schedule in front of your client, what do? They see policy numbers, product names. It's all entirely hypothetical, and they switch off. But, how would you know? I mean, so seeing all of this, how would you know that advice engagement is going well in a conversation between the planner and the client?
Yeah, Gary, I mean, we see it all the time. You know, when we talk about client engagements, are your clients engaged? What advisors typically measure are things like, are my clients logging into my website? Are they clicking on my newsletter? Are they opening up their investment statements? And we think that that's a poor measure of client engagement. The real test is how clients, are they engaged in your conversation with them? And I mean, we often see those conversations that don't go well. You know, it's typical. The client will say something, I don't understand, but I trust you, Mr. or Mrs. Advisor, or you know, the eyes glaze over. You know, that's the not good. And our term for that is clients lean out. So their arms are folded, they're sitting back, they're not engaging in the conversation. And you know, and we've seen now, you know, if you have the effective engagement tools, suddenly the client leans in. They lean into the conversation. They become part of the conversation. They're enthusiastic. They're sharing information. They want to be there in the room with you. And another way of thinking about it, we call it, you know, you plan with a client, not for a client. So that's great to see. And I'd recommend for advisors, if you're not aware whether your clients are leaning in or out, video record a session, ask your colleagues, look for those telltale signs, you know, if your clients are engaged or not. Now, Gary, I mean, change is hard for all of us. I mean, here's another change in the industry to take a step forward. And we know that 80% of the industry is going to take 5 years to do anything, but maybe just some practical takeaways for the guys that do think, listen, you know, I need to check this out, or, you know, practically, how does one move forward on this?
Yeah, thanks, Benny. I mean, maybe just a quick point is, we know for a long time now that financial advisors need to look at their practices from two respects. So wearing the hat of a business owner, so worrying about operations, HR, finance, all of that sort of stuff. And then secondly, wearing the hat of the financial planner. So sitting with clients, doing the modeling, all of that good stuff. I think what we're seeing is that there actually is a third hat which needs to be taken into account, and that is advice engagement, which is a critical success factor in moving clients forward. So basically, it's not good enough to be using all the technical back office stuff that we use to engage advice around anymore. So we've got to put in some effort to consider, how do we engage differently around advice? So how is engagement with clients different to the stuff that they use to administer them in the back office? So it means we need to take a fresh perspective on the processes, on the systems, on the technology. I think some guys are going to be able to jump into it fairly easily, find a tech solution to support them, but other guys are going to have to take a deliberate approach to say, okay, this is the financial planning stuff, this is the business management stuff, what is the client, what is the advice engagement stuff? So basically, I think that planners are going to know when they're on the right track, when they get the sense of, okay, I'm not presenting anymore. Instead, they begin feeling what is truly a magical experience, when the planner and the client have an intimate heart-to-heart collaboration. So I think Francois and Dan, thanks for giving us the couple of minutes to share this. I hope that was useful. We're happy to go back to you guys.
Thank you very much. That was amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I love the work that Asset Map is doing. And if people want to find out more about what Asset Map is and what you guys do, where's the best place for them to go to find out about that?
We would say Asset Map. So www.asset-map/nextgen.
Perfect. There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Good luck with your talk today, Gary, and we'll speak very, very soon. See you later.
Thanks.
Francois, what do we have next?
Yeah, and what an inspirational talk from the guys, right? It's now time for the big breakfast, big topic. And today we are talking about financial planning, as you mentioned several times already. And joining us to kick us off on this segment, we have Maria Bjork, who are, how, if you bring her up, I can ask her how she's doing. Otherwise,
Good morning, Maria. How's things?
Good morning, Dan. All good, thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You're joining us from Sweden this morning, so it's a truly international interview this morning.
Yes.
So as Francois has mentioned, and I've said a few times during the show, today's big topic is financial planning. Now, I'm not sure what it's like in Sweden, but certainly across here in the UK and around the world, our profession still has this kind of ringing reputation about it, that it's stuffy and traditional and things like that. But I think, and a lot of people think, it is possible to bring a fresh new approach to this through marketing. But what would you say the benefits, and what are the benefits going to be in the long term of having a truly 21st century brand?
Yeah, in today's marketing world, we see a farmer mentality where I always say that 80% give and 20% receive. And what that means is the social gives us a great opportunity to reach a large target audience for a very little pay. And that the personal branding makes us unique. It makes us you. And the ultimate goal for a financial planner, where a lot of people in the industry is basically saying the same thing, but can you find your target audience and who you serve and how you serve and how you will actually take people from A to B? So, for example, if I'm working with pension funds, I have a great opportunity to present myself and build that credibility as an expert in my field. And there are a lot of opportunities, and I can see that pre-corona today, it's even larger opportunities where we can actually show up and people are willing to start to work with you without meeting you in the physical space. So if you can find your unique voice, there's really no competition, because you can only be you, right? So that is the 21st branding. I can see that that is where marketing and heading towards, where we actually educate, we give value, and we show ourselves to your audience, your target audience. And for very little pay, you can reach a very scaled target audience today.
So, Maria, one of the things that's constantly being talked about by financial planners is social media. It's almost like it's the only place to be. And they constantly talk about how they can use it in their marketing. My question is, like, what tips do you have for them on getting the most from social media, be it organic or paid advertising, if they choose to go that route?
Right. So I say start with one platform really well, because I can see that many financial planners and firms are doing marketing, but there's no clear strategy behind it. So you need to have a clear, defined marketing plan where you actually are, everybody on the firm is on board, and this is where we're heading. And I say LinkedIn is a powerful tool for you to start to build that personal brand. So, for example, that if you are 4 planners in the firm and all of you are picking LinkedIn as your first go-to social media platform, you can brand yourself and start to communicate with your target audience. And it's actually to show up and have a sustainable marketing plan in place for your business.
It's a good shout. Yeah, I think we often spread ourselves too thin across these things and think, like you said, where we need to be everywhere, when in reality, if you're not getting any engagement, or you know that your target audience isn't going to be on one platform, there's no point in you being there. And you can still show up on every single other platform and have a massive impact without needing to show up on every single one. It's almost like taking the pressure off everyone and saying you don't need to spread yourself so thin. Last question. Well, last question for you, Maria, this morning, because the conference is starting in 5 minutes. The financial planner websites is something which is talked about all the time as well. For a long time, people felt that they didn't need them. I think that kind of myth is gone now. I think everyone realizes that you need a website. But if you could think of like some very kind of big tips on what financial planners must have on their websites, what would you say that would be?
Right. So we got to get out of that sitting business card document. We need to be a living document. And I call it a 6-point guide, where you got in the top 3, you got your audience statement, where you actually are talking about your audience, and don't brag about yourself. Don't talk about how good you are. Talk about how you help and how you serve and what you can do for your people. And then we need a lead magnet where people are very clearly defined can find you and book a strategy session with you, for example, and a clear call to action where they can take action on your website, because we want it to be a living document, and text that actually speaks to your target audience. Skip the jargon, keep it pretty simple, because people don't want to read long articles, long text. They want it to be simple. So we want them to be interested enough to actually talk to us, because that is the whole idea here, what we're doing on our website. And social proof, testimonials, very, very important in today's world. That's where we show people that we are actually working with people, and the testimonials should have a name and a company or where they're from. That's very important. And also the SEO in place, so they can find us in the search engine. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I think testimonial videos work really well.
Videos.
Well,
Videos are powerful. The conversion rate is 80% higher on videos.
Wow. Okay.
That's powerful. That is a new world of marketing, Dan. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could have another complete show on video, and I know that Francois is very interested in video as well.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk about too much about that this morning. But let's get everyone back on stage. Let's get everyone back up where they are. There's Francois, Bennie, Gary. We've lost Sasha, but Sasha's got to talk today, so I think she's probably going off and preparing for that anyways. But thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Francois for being my awesome co-host. Have you got any extra words for everyone, Francois?
No, just thank you very much for being here. And I love the insights. I love how quick this went. So have a fantastic day, and thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maria. Thank you to Gary and Bennie as well, and of course to Sasha.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to you guys for watching. We hope you really enjoy the conference today and tomorrow, of course. We'll be back this afternoon at 4:30 with the Big T, which is going to be on the same topic of financial planning. But for now, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the conference, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.